Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to our channel. My name is Rogers Gichana Okakasungure. Yesterday, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Ezekiel Machogu, released the KCPE examination. And today, I have an amazing story for you. And before we continue, kindly subscribe to our channel and remember to turn on the notification bell so that next time when we upload a video, you are able to be notified. Next to me is a candidate who sat for his exam, Oriki Doubar. Doubar is an English name, and if I cannot spell, you might not be able to write it. So this young man has an amazing story, a journey that every person has a lesson to learn. He will be telling us his name and explain to us his performance right from term one. You know, this is a young man who had below 300 marks at one point. But as we speak, you can't imagine. He scored above 400 marks. It's an encouraging story to us and our parents at large, and even the coming candidates. Welcome, young man.
Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Doubar. I sat my KCP this year in Nairobi Mountain View School.
Mountain View School.
Yes.
Can you explain to us how was your performance right from term one until you managed to score 400 marks?
In class 8, the entrance exam,
Yes.
I scored 313. Then in the second exam we did, the midterm exam, I dropped to a 287. But then I improved and went to a 306 in the last exam of term 1. I remember losing hope in first term.
Yes.
But then in term 2, I don't know what happened. Term 2, the first exam, I rocketed to a 348.
Yes.
Then next exam, I improved to a 354. Then the very next one, I improved to a 372. Then the next to a 379. At that point, I felt better about my performance, but then another obstacle came by.
Yes.
We started doing these marathon exams, and in 3 of those exams, 3 of them consecutively, I dropped. I went from a 379
Yes.
to a 369 to a 363, then to a 354 again. I didn't know what happened, but I didn't know really what to do. So it was just mentally straining because I thought I had solved my problem of dropping and not performing.
Yes.
But then it came back. Then I tried my best in the next exam. I at least got to a 364.
Yes.
Yes. Then entering third term. Third term, I improved to a 365, but I wasn't satisfied because I was going at a slower rate than before.
Yes.
Because I used to have these robust improvements. But now that was a 1-mark improvement, which wasn't sufficient. Then, surprisingly, in the next exam,
Yes.
I got 389. I felt on top of the world, but I remembered what happened when I got a 379 and I got a bit too excited. So I kept it inside of myself and said, I will be happy later once I've completed
Yes.
the last exam. I worked then, even though it was a tough exam, I managed to garner 391 marks in the next exam. Then I went down to a 389. Then somehow, the second last exam we did in class 8, I got 413. I didn't know. My parents are the ones who called me in school because I was at a boarding school. It just came as a shock because I didn't think I can do it. Now, the last exam, I don't really, we weren't told. We just revised the paper.
Yes.
And we were told, if we tell you, some of you might become stressed and not concentrate on the final exam. In KCP, me and my mom were seated in the car, sending the SMSs.
Yes.
I remember being scared because it said that
You were shivering and
yes,
yes.
because it said whether the results weren't released or it was my index number that didn't exist or was incorrect. But later, that glitch was worked out, and once my mother sent the SMS, we were overjoyed to find out I had 4.6. Yes.
In all these exams, since from first term you've been scoring below 400 marks, at any point have you ever thought you would score above 400 marks?
No. I thought my limit might be 390, but it just came as a shock. I didn't expect it.
What was your target maybe in the KCP exam? Which, you know, when I was a student, we used to write down behind our cover books, Nandika, if you, my target is 390 or 400 or 500.
Yeah. My dad and I
Yes.
agreed on a target of 432. I kept that in mind in every exam to keep me busy so that I wouldn't get satisfied with whatever I had because I still hadn't beat my target. Even though I hadn't hit my target, at least I scored above 400.
Let's say your father had a target of 432.
Yes.
And in all the exams you could score below 400 marks. What was the reaction of the father and maybe the mother?
My parents were...
Because up to the last exam before KCP, you could not still hit above 400 marks.
Yeah, my parents were hopeful and supportive throughout the entire journey. We had some ups and downs,
Yes.
but at least it ended well. Yeah.
I know there's this one thing that kept you going. Even if you were scoring below your father's target, there's that one thing that kept you going. You say, I will still do it.
Yes.
Which thing was this? Kuna kitu ilikuwa inakupatia moyo unasema, okay, kuna wazazi pale nje, their parents out there, maybe who gave up on their candidates. Maybe the parent wanted the kid to score, let's say 380, 390, but then you find the candidate did not meet that target in all the exams as you did. Then you find the parents gave up. On your point, what was this supportive to your side that encouraged you to keep going until you had to score above 400 marks?
What kept me going was the support from all my family and especially from my parents.
Yes.
And I remember I made a promise to my grandmother before she sadly departed from us. I made a promise that I would pass this KCP, that I would make her proud. And that kept me going. Also, I had this healthy competition with my brother. Yeah, he's KCP. He got 414.
You were under pressure to...
Yeah, I was under a bit of pressure to beat him.
Yes.
Yeah, but at least nilimkaribia. 4.6 wasn't bad. It was a good performance. They thank God for it.
Before I speak to your mother, maybe you last words to other candidates and your friends?
What I'd like to say
Yes.
is that KCP is unpredictable because you don't know what will happen.
Yes.
I didn't expect this much, yet it came. Even if you might have not scored as much marks as you wanted, there's still next time because KCP isn't the end of life. You still have more exams to come. You have high school, university, and even more studies ahead of you. So what I'd like to say is don't lose hope. Instead, carry on and have faith in yourself and work towards your target because there's no shortcut. And make sure you have a target. Yeah, it's not a must to hit your target. Just know, whenever you're aiming at the moon and you shoot your arrow, the arrow might not always hit the moon. It might fall among the stars. When you're working, work as if you're going to hit the moon. But when you're receiving the result, hope as if you know you hit among the stars or on the moon. So whenever you receive your results, you should be open-minded because it's not the end.
Which is your dream school, high school?
My dream high school is Alliance Boys. I wanted to join my brother there.
Yes.
Yes.
And what do you want to become? Maybe after Form 4, what do you want to study?
I want to study law.
Hey, where? You want to become a lawyer?
Yes.
James Orango.
Yes.
And that is your role model in law?
I don't really have a role model.
Yes.
I just wanted to do law because I want people to have fair rulings and to help people in cases where they are maybe not being carried well by their lawyers. I want to be fair in whatever I am defending, whether we know you're guilty or not. You still have a right to a fair ruling. Yes.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is amazing. What a story. So parents out there, don't lose hope yet. These things are possible. Keep talking to your children. Keep talking to your candidates. I want to speak to the mother, to Doubar, and then maybe she has a story to tell us. What was her reaction? Because their target was 432 marks. What was their reaction? Doubar is scoring below 400 marks. In fact, at one point, he scored below 300. You can't imagine. Now, I want to speak to the mother, and then she gives her story. Ladies and gentlemen, the mother is here, Edna herself. Now, she will be telling her story. Maybe she introduces herself, and then she tells us, how was it to encourage Doubar from 280 something marks to above 400 marks? Welcome, Edna. You know, I always call you Waziri, you know.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Maybe you introduce yourself to the people.
Thank you, Kaka, for having us. My name is Edna Nyaboke Kangwana. Doubar is our second son, and we are happy to be here. Yeah.
Maybe you had a target of 432 marks for Doubar.
Yeah.
And all along in all the exams, you even never made to 400 marks flat. What was your reaction as a mother?
Oh, wow. Doubar's story is a story of resilience. So he's a sharp young man. And I think for me, I want to take the angle of Doubar being the effects that COVID-19 brought to us. You know, when COVID came, schools were closed, and then we started doing online learning, and we had gadgets for every child, Doubar included. And you know, somehow their life changed. They started getting attached so much to the gadgets until they forgot to do the physical book reading. So when COVID was over, they went back to school. Doubar's performance went under. I could come from work, you know, Doubar has a gadget, the brothers have a gadget, but they still take your phones away. Everything is just on phone, on phone. I really yearned so much to see my kids having books and doing the traditional reading that we used to do, because that is where exams come from. So it was really tough. So when he went to class 8, he actually was in 200 marks. 200 marks, but still he continued to compete with the brother who scored 400. You ask him, which school do you want to go? He says, I want to go to Alliance. Alliance, but he has 200 marks. So I was like, there is an issue here. If he doesn't make it, they are going to forever fight as brothers. But again, I don't want to have a child who is scoring 200 and then I start looking for a local school around, you know, the hassle of getting a school. So we started talking with the boy, He was very receptive, but he was not changing those negative things that I used to see, like still attached. There is a time I realized that my kids were sleeping at 3 a.m. in the morning. The addiction was so bad. So of what I do professionally, I am a mentor to school-going children. I go to high school, I go to secondary school, to high school, and even to primary to try to encourage the young ones that there is no shortcut, they have to work it. So here is a problem in my house. I don't know how to treat it.
Yes.
The father was so emotional, so I decided to use the other approach of now talking to my boy the way I normally talk to the other kids in school. So we could have sessions, and then I realized he didn't like being where he was academically, and it had started actually affecting his self-esteem. Even the way he was walking, he could walk like he doesn't want to look like he's existing. So we tried to talk to him, and the school also was very progressive. At one point, they gave us a form where we were filling the target, and the father said, do it with your son. So we sat down. I was like, how much do you want to score? Then we put ourselves a target of 400. And I personally committed to that target, just like the father. The father so much. In terms of books, I mean, he's better than me in terms of academic resources for our children. So we started walking the journey. At one time, we went to their school, is it academic day, they call it. And then I met the teacher. Yes. And then the teacher was talking with a lot of force. A lot of force, like, Duba, what I didn't like it because I realized my son was shrinking, literally shrinking, and he was struggling with the confidence, like I said, he was shrinking. And then when we got out, the father was like, yes, that is good. And I was like, no, I don't like that approach. So I talked to my son. My son told me, teacher so-and-so is very forceful. I tried to talk to the father. The father was like, no, you are babying our son. But God is good. Yes. Among the teachers, that I love the way the teacher was with force, Sometimes you use force, you have a cane, and then you can also use the soft power. So I realized the soft power was working better for my son. So there is one of the teachers, I want actually to mention her name. Her name is Mercy. Mercy became the second mother to my son. Yes. So I could come and tell my son, you scored 70. You improved from 60. Yes. Then my son could feel good and can say, Teacher Mercy believes in me. So I realized it was really working. And anytime my son could come home, could talk about Teacher Mercy and tell me like, Mom, you need to do a present for Teacher Mercy. You need to do this and this and this. So, in the last term, my son moved. Kaka, it was a sad story. Yes. Anytime results could come, we have a WhatsApp group for the school. We used to look for my son from bottom. You're looking for Duba, and then you go from the bottom. Then you find maybe he has defeated about 10 or 20. You look at the marks, you're like, it's not about the numbering, but what about the marks? Still, it's not what you want. And we knew that he has potential to achieve more. And we wanted to see him really sweat it to move from there. So in the last term, my son had 400 marks. And then my husband called me like, have you looked at the results? I was so happy. Then I tried to connect with the school. He didn't even know. I'm like, you got 400. He was like, Mom, I worked so hard. I am so happy that my hard work has paid. So during the last stretch, my son even Arikonda. Arikonda. I used to have a big body. Yes. Arikonda. And then I could just see this boy is really working so very hard. So I knew that he was going to get 400 marks. And then when we went to pick him from school, now I had a one-on-one with Teacher Mercy, the second mother.
Teacher Mercy, shout out.
Then Teacher Mercy told me, don't worry, Mama Duba. Yes. Duba is going to score so well. So we came home. We've been with him most of the time. And then when exams were almost coming, he was very, very anxious. Actually, yesterday, he woke up at 5 and came to my bedroom and was like, Mom, I can't sleep. Mom, the anxiety was too much. Until now, we started getting worried, me and my husband, like, what if he doesn't get what he wanted? How are we going to manage? So again, as a mentor and all the things I do, we were trying to see how we'll try to manage whatever that comes. But God is good. The results came. He told you the way we were struggling is the one who kept on sending the SMSs. When we got the results, I was like, God, you are a true God. And then, you know, he told me, Mom, we were in the car. Mom, now I know, in life, you will never achieve anything if you don't work it out. You have to work hard. You have to work hard. Thank you for helping me know that I needed to go back. So basically, why I am telling this story is to encourage a parent who is struggling with a kid somewhere, that it's never the end. You know, there is a book I was reading, and the book was about the fox, the boy, the mole, you know, and the horse. And then the boy was, they were walking through the woods. I mean, what we go through life. And then in the woods, it was a little bit blurry. And the boy was like, I can't see the future. I can't see where we are going. Then the horse was like, can you look down? Can you see your next step? Then the boy said yes. Then the horse said, just make that one step, you know. You continue making that one step. So I want to say, at the beginning of this year, when my boy was in class 8, we were walking in the woods. It was so bright. So we could have chosen to continue like abusing the boy, demeaning the boy and such. We decided to take the one step. And when you decide to be intentional, nature conspires. You know, now nature brought Teacher Mercy and all those things we are talking about. Then you've also, I think you've seen from this story, the motivation for Doubar has been always Al. Do you see the role modeling, the way it works even at the family unit? I mean, he wants to pee and even beat Al, go to the school of Al and all those things. So let us try to encourage our kids to learn from each other. And even if it looks bright, take that one step. And sometimes you don't have to use the cane, use the soft power. Talk to the heart. Talk to the heart. The potential lies there.
Yes.
Yeah. But above everything, we give glory to God.
Wow. Let me have a sip. What a story. Now, there is a point you spoke about the teacher trying to use force. And the father is like, yes, this is what we want. But the mother you're looking at, okay, no, this is not right for Doubar. Can we say at some point, boys tend to listen to the soft motherly love? And what if then you went for the way of the force? As the father, you know, this is my baba nile, tandika,
Okay, what I've learned in parenting, it's never a straight line. Both work. And you know, me and my husband, we complement each other. I use the soft pitch of trying to mainstream them, and then he uses the harder one, which I am not able to do most of the time. But there are scenarios which, especially now that our kids are so informed about their rights, there is this comparison and all what, I have seen that the soft power works better. The soft power works better because it makes the young boy or the young girl to go to himself. Because, you know, this exam will only be done by that young boy, that young girl. It's not you, the parent. So you need to tell them, you know, you have the potential. You have the potential. Work it like that without using force. When you use force, they may Cancun and get another way of trying to feel good. That's why young ones can go to drugs, young ones can be doing the wrong things, bad company and such. The second way again, which is negative, is that they will now go under the bed, under the table. Like they don't want to, they lose all the confidence they have, yes.
We interviewed his elder brother and the case was different. Do you think as a mother, the same parenting procedure works in our kids?
No, it's not the same. You vary it. The brother was a little bit different. And again, I've realized that this has always existed. That a parent, sometimes you adopt one way and you want to treat the kids the same way. They are not the same. Yeah, they are go-getters. They are those ones who are their own managers, you know, and they are those, especially the middle ones and the young ones. Sometimes they may feel that you are not appreciating them. So you try to find a moderation. I have other kids, and I have seen that even when someone has done good and you are trying to give that person, the other one feels bad. So I am really learning and trying to see how to create a balance amongst them where they feel, I mean, it's all about diversity. and embracing diversity and inclusivity, even within the family unit. They are not the same, they are different.
Yes.
But how do you strike a balance? Yeah.
I know you've given your advice to parents, but then I want to give you time, your very last words to our people.
Thank you. I think I want to borrow from what Duba said.
Yes.
I want to send a message to the parents that the marks are just numbers. They don't determine the future of a child. Whatever the child got, embrace that child. If the child wants to go back to school, it's okay. But if the child doesn't want to go back to school, try to see what you can do. And this is especially for the students I've seen struggle so much. Those ones who wanted like to get 400, and then they have like 380, 390, and they're feeling bad. You know, they already made it. 390, 370, whatever it is, they already made it. And then circumstances also, and this is for now the candidate. There is a candidate who scored maybe 200. Look at the circumstances. That candidate could have, if that candidate could have been given equal chances like those ones who are in academies and such, had a potential of achieving that. So the marks are just a number. They are just a foundation pointers, but it's not like the end of the road. And again, another message is to the parents who have pre-candidates, and also maybe parents who are struggling in whichever way in academic performance of their children. It's never the end. Just make that one step, the next and the next, change the style and see which one works. Whatever works, pick it and learn with it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That is the story of Duba. From 280-something marks to 400, it wasn't easy. It takes the encouragement from the parents themselves to make sure the candidates perform well. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye. God bless you.